Okay, today we're going to be tying the strawberry streamer. This is a pattern that made up last weekend, and we took it up and fished it on Strawberry Reservoir, and it was really fun. The first thing we're going to do is add a 4mm tungsten bead. I do recommend also pinching your barb for the sake of the fish. There we go. That should do it. Alright. So we'll add a 4mm tungsten bead. And this is a slotted bead, which is nice. Will fit a lot of different hook sizes. Okay. You could probably go bigger if you want. Okay, we're then going to add some lead wire for weight. And then you can just slide it back on itself. So you get a little bit more. Okay. Once you have that, you can I position the bead where I want it to be, and then, well, first break off that lead wire and then position your bead, and you just slide this right up into it and it'll hold it there for you. Alright. The next thing we're going to do is secure that with some brown thread. There we go. And just wrap over the top of that lead wire. And we'll just wrap back and forth until we've covered it enough that it's secured. Okay. Next thing we're going to do after wrapping in the wire is we're going to add some gold ribbing. We'll just tie it in for now, and we will use this in just a sec. Tie in the back. Alright. Just secure it there. Alright, we're now going to tie in some hollow tinsel. This will be wrapped around the body to give it a nice shiny body. So we'll start this up behind the bead, about a bead and a half back. And then we will wrap this toward the back. And then we will bring that forward, back to where we started. And secure it with a couple of wraps. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some rabbit fur with some white zonker strips. You can use other colors if you like. For this fly, I'm going to use white. So I'm going to use this one here and cut enough for, we're going to actually tie in 2 different strips. Alright, so we will then take we'll take and rotate this upside down. We're going to tie with the fur facing away from the fly. And just go ahead and secure that. And you can bring that, any excess back. And that should sit on top of that, on top of the hook. So the fur's facing out. And then we're going to trim this about a hook length back, and make sure that when you trim it, you don't trim the fur that is going to be hanging over the edge. So I'll do it about right there. There we go. I almost forgot to tie in my gold rib. That's okay, we can still do it. We'll do it right now. Out of order, but it's okay. We'll tie in that gold rib right here onto our very shiny body. And I'm just going to secure this real fast with a couple wraps. You should do that, prefer to do that before you tie in the rabbit, but it's okay, it'll work just fine. Just a little easier. Okay, so then we're going to tie in the rabbit on the top, zonker strip. Same thing, we're going to set it on top. I'm going to make it so it's facing out, away from the fly. And I'm going to just tie that in. And that should sit on top of the fly, so it's facing away. And then again, we're going to trim the back here. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do about the same length as the bottom. And just give it a little trimming. There we go. Awesome. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is tie in some flash boo, some flash here. Crystal flash is what it's called. And there's a lot of different colors you can do. For this fly, I'm going to use a orange, brown, and a kind of a greenish color. I'll find the names and post them in the description below the video. So I'm just going to get 4 pieces, four strands. That's what I'm after. Looks like I might have an extra one here. And then what I'm going to do is just tie this in, and this first tie-in is going to be facing me. So I'm going to kind of pull it towards me and make sure that it's kind of going that direction. And then I'm going to secure it and tie it, the other ends going the other direction. And then I'm going to take both of the ones that I tied in, and I'm going to pull them together to get the same length. And I'm going to, it should be about the length of the fur, a little bit less. If you pull on it, it does stretch it out a little bit. Alright, so you're going to take the green, you're going to lay it in the middle and secure that with a couple of wraps. And then I should kind of pull it towards you so it's facing towards you, and then come over the top and go the other direction. And wrap it in, and then again we're going to take the green here, line it up, and trim it so it's about that length. And now we have some nice shinies the fish will love. The next thing we're going to add is a couple of black tackle tips. So we're going to get a couple tips that are about the same size. And I'm actually going to, where's my scissors? I'll leave these on and just trim them. And then I'm going to line these up so they're the same length, and I will splay them so they're going, so you want to splay them so they're facing out a little bit, and you can always adjust it once you get that first wrap. So we'll tie them in with a couple of loose wraps and adjust everything the way we want it. So we're going to want these splayed out a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to secure it with my fingers and just tighten it up with a couple of wraps. There we go, looking good. I'm going to trim off the excess tackle. And just secure this with a few more wraps. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is add some red elk hair. So I'm just going to trim a little bit of red elk hair. This gives a lot of, I don't know, color to it. Just set that on top, right about where we trimmed it, and should be about the same length as everything else. We'll go ahead and secure that with first couple loose, and we'll tighten those wraps. And then I'm just going to wrap through the remaining hair to make sure it's nice and secure up towards that bead. And continue wrapping, kind of capturing a lot of those hairs. Alright, and then I'm just going to clean it up a little bit. Anything that looks off, I'm just going to make sure it looks good. It's not actually pretty good. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is add some fox fur. This stuff is awesome. It's really fine. I really like it. So there's a lot of good color options here. I've used most of the light or the darker orange brown color, but I'm going to go ahead and get some of this. This is pretty fine, so if you cut closer you'll get a lot of this fine fur. If you cut further away you'll get more of just the thinner, longer fur. I'm going to try and get a good clump here. Now with this, you'll want to pull out all the guard hairs because there's going to be a lot when you cut it. And then we're going to place this on top of the elk hair, and you'll need to do this a couple times. So I'm going to first start with towards me, and this should be about this should be a little bit longer than everything else, and secure with a few wraps. And then I'm going to trim off the excess. Alright, we're going to do it again. This might be a little bit too short. Hopefully it's not. We'll find out. And get all those. Yep, okay. Yep, okay, and this will go in the middle. And again, you want to make it same length as the other. And this was a little bit shorter, but we had enough. And then we're going to do one last little bunch facing away from me. And again, we're going to pull all those guard hairs out. And this one we'll do on the other side. And I'm just going to trim up any stragglers that I have. And just pull everything back, make sure that it looks good. And add a few wraps here, kind of just get everything secured. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to do is we are going to add some dubbing and kind of a head to this fly. So I'm going to take the fur from the fox and I'm going to use this dub. Same color, so it's really nice. And we'll dub up on the head there. Give it a nice little head. You definitely could add some ice to this if you wanted. I don't have any, or would. Consider it. Okay. So go ahead and finish dubbing all the way back. And then finally, we're going to add some ice dub, this pheasant tail color, which is similar to what we have here. And we're going to also put this on the head. This is just going to give it more sparkle. It'll look nice and shiny for the fish. last thing we're going to do, I'm just going to wrap through this a couple times. It is kind of a lot, so it should be fine. Okay, I'm just going to secure everything with some knots. Make sure I like the way everything looks. Just would finish it with a few knots, and you will have yourself the strawberry streamer, the original. At least it's the original to me. And there you have it. So I will again link in the video fishing with this streamer at Strawberry Reservoir. My brother, he also has a YouTube channel and does a lot of kokanee fishing on strawberries. So we went out and actually did some fly fishing on the lake there and caught a few with this streamer. It worked really well. So go ahead and check it out and like and subscribe. Thank you.